Hey, my name is Anu and this is Northlight Quilts. Today I'm showing you how to do binding for a table runner and few tips what you should think before you do your binding. So I have two table runners for about this table, and this was my last year table runner, and you can see that there is red binding that it's like which make like frames to this table runners. It's bold, you can see it clearly. So one thing what you can think before you do binding is that do you want that to see like this bold? And we look these two table runner a little bit closer, and I'll explain why. I don't know it's better or not, but like more beautiful or cleaner or something like is that other one. So one is the color. So if you are really good about binding, you can do different color, which is really different than the background. Of course, these table runners I made like quilting, like quilts, free motion quilting. I made these, and after that I made these bindings. And this one you can see this red thread really clearly, but these table runners are like good practicing before big quilts, because these are just on table, so people not are like, oh, what is the back side? So, or if you do like wall hanging, these are most likely that people are not going to look what is the back side of the piece. But if you are like quilt, it's when you use both sides and you see the binding if there is more mistakes. So one thing you can do the binding is that you can do scraps. So I just noticed that I have used here different colors what I had leftovers. This is my last year my main thing what I made for my last Christmas. But I can, if you want, I can show few videos when I made and explain that, but okay, that's different. So better way to do binding is, if you are not done this many times, is to take the same fabric what you have background. So it's more like not showcase, it's blending with this table runner. And I'll show you how I made this. This is really good looking when people are sitting and looking, oh, you have made so beautiful table runner. So this is really nice from to closer to look, much better than this. And I made this that I didn't use so much fabric that I usually do. So this is more smoothie, or it's not so bulky. This is much, if you try, it's like it's going bumpy or pumpy. Okay, so this doesn't feel like this stop over here. So if you like these Ohio stars, you can look my previous video. I made these two on that video and told that the measurements and these houses I will do some video on December. So let's look these closer and then we'll look the video how I made this. Okay, you can see that this red one has started from that I sew the back first and turn then this to right side and then did on top of this binding. So it's, you can see the sewing lines and back you can see it also. This is what it should be, but you can see that it's not. And this I made, so in this red I had the piece which was like a turn double as normal binding, and this I had not, you can see. So but you can see that this is really nice. It's almost invisible, that sewing. And back, so I started that I sew first to this top and turned to back. And here you can see, okay, there is a little bit mistake or something. You can see that sewing line on back, but like nobody is looking, so it doesn't matter, and I like that. This is, here you can see the sewing, but here you cannot. Okay, let's look how I made this, and I like that this way is for table runner. Really nice and good, even that the background is not that perfect that I would like, but top is so nice that I don't mind. I join this strip as usual bindings, the diagonal, so the sewing line is not bulky, and my strips for this work is only 1.5 inch, so it saves fabric also, and my sewing stitch is 2.0. and after I join all the what I need, it took maybe four strip, then I try this time to different joining method. I have joined really hard way, so I try this time this 45-degree starting thing. I have not done this many times. So my foot is usual quilting foot, which is 1/4 of, and so the sewing line is just 1/4 inch, and I sew from this top side, and this way we get really nice binding. I made these corners as usual. It's a little bit weird because the strip is only one side, because usually we do these bindings double fabric. So I did just as I usually do, turn few stitches from my sewing line to corner and turn this as usual. I didn't know would this work well, but it did. So I followed what I have learned earlier from earlier works. So the last corner, one more time, you see it goes really well because the fabric is only so thin this time. And I'm now getting the place where I started, so I just need to cut the fabric and look at I did that 45-degree cut and a little bit turn to inside, so the fabric is not raw edge. And I think I could just sew the joinment or this together by hand, but I was so lazy, so I did this just by machine. It was not perfect, but the end result no one noticed that if not looking really carefully. So the fabric is not lining perfectly the outside, so I just cut that when I was sewing. And I press this by fingers, but before I sew this end, I made that first by iron. But this is just that you can see how I turn. So the raw edge you turn to the work, and then you have this in double and then you turn that to the work itself. So there is no raw edge and it's a little bit more over. And corners I needed to feel what side the bulkiness was and turn back side differently. No one usually look the background, so it's not so important to be so perfect, but I want that it's at least good, not always perfect. So this is just turn and then you sew from top or the right side, and when you turn this you can see that the fabric is over your sewing line. So this you can see the sewing line is dark, and when I turn I look that the sewing line is over that my previous line, so that when I sew again at really same sewing line, the fabric will be okay, that the sewing is taking that place. And I didn't have to correct that, as I need usually when I do this double and really tight measurements, but this time this was a little bit extra, few millimeters, or really just enough that it's okay. And I did use needles this time, pins I mean, and now you can see that I sewed just the same line, so it's between these two fabric. And later I did use walking foot, because that way I didn't have to like it's a little bit heavy so binding with this quilting foot, so but it was okay, but I wanted to do a little bit faster, so I changed that. You see that if I do have the other video with next.